know if you have an introduction slide about yourself,
Yeah,
um, but the stage is all yours. Welcome, guys. Thank you.
yeah. So good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, so we will be discussing about becoming Web3 generalist. And yeah, as we all know, there's no such um, thing, expert, or let's say we can say that there are specialists specifically in the Web3. So we are all, I would say, or any sort of field, or might be in the business or your personal reasons. So we have to learn, and yeah, we will be discussing those. So yeah, thank you, Surgence, for this opportunity. So before I start, I would like to introduce myself. So I'm Lupin, and by profession, I'm electronics technician, a licensed electronics engineer, and yeah, I'm taking up masters in environmental engineering. Hopefully, I could identify a better research, hopefully in Web3 or research topic for my thesis. And yeah, for my career in real life IRL, so I was once a student trainee of a sand and gravel company, a soft drinks company. I don't know if you know Coca-Cola. At the same time, a liquor or a beer company. So for some of our audience over in the Philippines, so this is the beer company that I am into before is San Miguel. And then I'm an instrumentation technician, and then I become a project assistant of a government agency. So I help actually before communities and local government. At the same time, I've become a research associate of a university helping researchers, MSMEs, or the micro, small, and medium enterprises and startups. At the same time, on the other path, so I was actually I am one of the board of election inspectors. So I am assessing teachers actually to act as frontline during elections. And then, yeah, I am member of some groups in environmental engineers and electronics engineers. So right now, I'm deep diving in Web3. So I'm one of the co-founders of a Web3 community helping our fellow Filipinos. So I'm also one of the core member of our local Web3 community. And right now, I'm a community manager of a GameFi project, a gaming guild, and a moderator of a DeFi project, a centralized exchange. I don't know if they know us as an angel. So yeah, I'm one of those. And then a moderator in a digital project and an NFT. And I was once a moderator of a cybersecurity project and a I was once also a business development executive of a centralized exchange, and lastly a beta tester. So yeah, so that's my introduction. So how I become a generalist. So yeah, I have diverse set
Well,
of yeah. And then we will be discussing this one. So let's define what is a generalist. So the history of generalism, the breadth and depth. So we will discuss those. What will be the perks of a generalist, and what's on the mind or the mindset of a generalist. And lastly, the opportunities and threats as a generalist. So by the way, guys, don't be hesitant to type in the chat. So yeah. So before we start, I just want to ask about this line. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the chat. So the jack of all trades, master of none. So yeah, feel free to chat, guys. So if you, what are your thoughts about this line? So yeah, don't be shy, guys. And one more thing. So who are career shifters or students here with different interests from their course? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Are we allowed to speak?
yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
So what are your thoughts about it?
I mean, with regards to jack of all trades, I think you have to be flexible. So it doesn't matter if
Right.
you were like an expert or you finish a degree with something and you're not gonna be sticking with it. You have to like learn and adapt to what's ever like what can like make you a better like individual like professionally. And that's
Agree.
one of my thoughts.
Yeah. Thanks, Katsu. So anyone who has
I think
something to
Rufi mentioned this before in one of his sessions. Um, if you do everything in the space, you're not gonna focus on one thing and specialize in it and just be comfortable and upskill your work in that particular field. So being a jack of all trade is not always a good thing. Um, it can help you some point, but I think being skilled at one particular skill, um, so everyone knows what you are and what you do in the space. For example, if you're like the best collab manager, everyone will know you for it. But if you're a collab manager and moderator at the same time, people get confused on what you really, really do in the space. Yeah.
Thanks, Mia. Yeah. So yeah, before yeah, thanks for your inputs, guys. And then we will define what is a generalist. So a generalist is an individual who possesses a wide range of knowledge, skills, and expertise across multiple domains or fields without necessarily specializing deeply in one specific area. So, on the contrary, a specialist is an individual who focuses intensely on a specific area or field, acquiring in depth knowledge, skills, and expertise within that narrow domain. So, yeah. So yeah, contrasting. So I just want to emphasize to make it harmonious, right? Generalists and specialists must coexist. And for the sake of our discussion and topic, so let's focus more about being a generalist. So perhaps soon someone will discuss or have discussed already about being a specialist to see the bigger picture. So, and I believe we can learn from each other. And regarding this quote unquote generalist versus specialist, so there's this thing that we will consider. There's this frog and eagle. So eagle sees things from the top, seeing the entirety of the forest, whereas frog sees the small details of each and every terrain, since the frog is an amphibian, right? And it can be in the ground or underwater. So they can both benefit actually as a so we can consider the eagle as a generalist and the frog as specialist. So they can both benefit. Example, um, harmful or a threatening insects to eagle can be eradicated by frogs, and at the same time, predators of frogs can be a food to the eagle. So the bottom line is that both the eagle and frog must coexist and has a respective role in the forest. So yeah, so I respect each and every generalist and specialist out here. So yeah, and then for the fifth slide, so let's have some interaction. So a brief history about the Renaissance era, because this is the age of transition from Middle Age to modernity. So yeah, the emergence and contributions of these Renaissance thinkers who excelled in multiple fields. So yeah, you can type in the chat these people. So let's start with this first picture. So he is an Italian painter, a sculptor, an architect, engineer, writer, and mathematician. So he is known for his scientific inquiry and mechanical inventiveness. So he is famous for Mona Lisa, The Last Supper, and that's for his art. And for his anatomy, we know that the Vitruvian Man. And yeah, for mechanical side or engineering side, so the ball bearing. And actually, based on my research, so he actually his design was made as the reference of modern helicopter. So yeah, and lastly, the parachute. So yeah, Katsuya Da Vinci. So at the same time, so the
For
second picture.
the hold on a sec. For a context, we're quite prepared for it because I know you're an engineer, so it's kind of like technical. So for other people, they might not be able to
Exactly.
understand.
Yeah. So yeah, at the same time, for the sake of this discussion, right? I don't discuss the names, but I have emphasized the contribution. So yeah, the second picture states that he's an Italian astronomer, physicist, an engineer, a philosopher, and mathematician. So he's famous for the telescope, actually. So yeah, he is Galileo Galilei, and one of his contributions actually is kinematics, about the speed, acceleration, distance, and time. And for the third one, yeah, you know this guy, English mathematician, physicist, astronomer, alchemist, theologian, and author. So he's famous for the gravity and the law of motion. Even the thing I hate, actually, the calculus. So yeah, he's Isaac Newton. And lastly, for the Renaissance era uh, contribution, so he's a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist. That's a separate question, Kat. So that will be on the next topic. Yeah, and for the fourth picture, so he is famous for Cartesian coordinate system. If you know the x and y axis, and yeah, the father of modern philosophy. So yeah, he is René Descartes. And going back or going into the future, so this one are from the 19th century to present. So I don't know if you don't know these people, maybe you're from the past. So yeah. So this guy is an engineer, physicist, and mathematician. So he's famous for alternating current and wireless transmission. So he is Nikola Tesla. The second one, I don't know if you're playing games, but he integrated existing technologies, old technologies actually, to a new device or to a new tech. So he is famous for the Game Boy. I don't know if you know this Japanese guy, but yeah, he created the Game Boy. So he is Gunpei Yokoi. And then this guy is a entrepreneur, designer, inventor and investor. So he paved way for our modern computers that we are using right now. And yeah, he encourages us to be different. So you know it, guys. It's Steve Jobs. And lastly, so he's an entrepreneur, a computer geek with background in physics and economics. So yeah, he sold an app when he was 12 years old, founder of or created the boring company Neuralink, even the X.com that we are using right now, the SpaceX, the Tesla, and the Starlink. So yeah, I believe you know him. All right. So yeah, these are the notable generalists that we can see in our throughout history. And then going technical now, guys. So yeah, there's this term breadth and depth. So breadth and depth actually are two contrasting dimensions when it comes to knowledge and skills. So breadth refers to the extent of topics or subjects that an individual has some level of understanding in. And then depth, so this is on the contrary. So the vertical side or the vertical line. So this refers to the extent of expertise and detailed understanding in a specific subject or field. So to better understand this, so let's consider a student named Alex who is passionate about learning and exploring various subjects. Actually, Alex enjoys studying history, mathematics, literature, biology, and computer programming. So we can say that Alex breadth of knowledge is broad as they have a good understanding of these diverse topics, and they can see connections between different fields. And then just to identify as well, let's compare this to Emily, who is deeply passionate about astronomy. So Emily spends most of her time reading about celestial bodies, studying astrophysics, and engaging astronomical research. So Emily's knowledge of astronomy is profound, and she has been a go-to person among her peers and teachers when it comes to celestial phenomena. So um, let's define this one. So in this case, Alex demonstrates breadth of knowledge, so the horizontal line, while since he has diverse range of interests, while Emily exemplifies depth of knowledge, the vertical line, possessing specialized expertise in astronomy. So actually, both breadth and depth of knowledge have their advantages, and individuals may choose to pursue either or both paths depending on their interest. Yeah, this is to emphasize, guys, that you must identify first your interest and your career goals. So yeah, going to the perks of a generalist, so I would say that as a generalist, you have the insights from one field can be applied to other, leading to innovative solutions, just like the famous people we have discussed earlier. So actually, as we have discussed about generalists, so they can fuse seemingly unrelated disciplines, right? For example, I would emphasize this one. Who would have thought that an online games and blockchain can be integrated to create some quote unquote that we are playing right now, like X to earn something, right? And As generalists, they can seek out and synthesize knowledge from different sources. So I don't know what's on their mind, but they're always connect or link it in whatever ways they can do to create solutions, to address a certain problems and whatnot, right? So one of which of the perks of a generalist is to thrive in a changing world. Let me ask you guys about this thing, right? About the kind learning environment versus the wicked learning environment. So when we say kind, so we can say that the next steps and goals are clear and it will never change through time. And then you get feedback that is quick and accurate. And as kind learning environment, the rules next year will be the same rules last year. And then you will have an advantage based on knowledge of recurring patterns because as I have mentioned, the rules and goals or steps are never changing. So which is easy to automate and execute. Whereas the wicked learning environment, so rules and goals are not clear and it may change. At the same time, feedback is delay, inaccurate, or even you may not able to receive a feedback. So the rules or the goals next year will not be the same rules last year. So I just want to ask you guys, so which world are we living in? Is it a kind learning environment or a wicked learning environment? So yeah, feel free to type in the chat. So uh, so generalist basically can adapt to a new situations and challenges. At the same time, can tackle complex interdisciplinary problems. So yeah. And the second one is you are also as generalists, you are the bridge or you bridge gaps between specialists. Why? Because you act as the link between these two irrelevant specialists. So they might be different specialists in what field or they are into. So as generalists, it is essential to have an effective communication both to specialists so that you will be able to translate these complex ideas across disciplines and at the same time even simplifying it. Yeah, actually, generalist is someone who is a yeah, we have defined it already. Someone who is has diverse skill sets, knowledge. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Tao, for that question. So going to the third topic or to the to the perks of a generalist is to orchestrate diverse teams. So as builders in Web3, so we must have a holistic thinking and approach in team integration. So as we are all leaders in this industry, so we can say that innovation and development arises once we have multidisciplinary teams. So we can relate this one to a Web3 project. So we have these devs, artists, marketer, collab, collab managers, even community managers and moderators. So I just want to ask who will be the leader of these five? Yeah. Yeah, feel free to type in the chat. So yeah, so as a generalist, so you will be able to lead them, connect with them because they might be different in what in the each field they are specialists in its own way. So as a generalist, you have to link them and create a um maybe a product of services in a Web3. Yeah. And for the next slide, so yeah, for the mindset of a generalist. So essentially, as a generalist, you have to nurture a diverse skill set. So one of which is to embrace a growth mindset. So understanding the growth mindset. So we have this saying or we have this statement, right? That we should argue that we are right or correct, but also let us listen as if we are wrong. So after all, we are seeking the truth. And obviously, we must have a growth mindset than a fixed mindset because static mindset right now might be relevant for this changing world. And a growth mindset is necessary in order to prosper and be successful. And then under the embracing a growth mindset, so emphasizing the power of yet. So the power of yet actually is based from the book of Carol Dweck. So yeah, let's acknowledge it, right? That the skills takes time, and the notion of adding the word yet contains drastically improvement in the realization that skills can take time to achieve, but that is possible, right? A statement such as "I don't understand this," yeah, right? I don't understand this changes a fixed mindset statement to a growth mindset statement by merely adding yet to the end of it. For example, I don't understand this, but it will say, and I don't understand this yet. So we have this growth mindset that we will be learning it in the future, or we will be tackling it, or we will achieve it in the future. Also, under the embracing a growth mindset is to overcome challenges and failures. So I believe we will emphasize the transformative power of confronting obstacles and setbacks, and it highlights the process of rising above adversity and turning failures into stepping stones for growth and success. So yeah, we will let's embrace failures and challenges. So let's learn from our mistakes because we believe, right? A person who never made a mistakes or failed never learned at all unless he or she learns from mistakes of others. So yeah, we have this line from Thomas Edison that I have not failed. I have just found 1,000 ways that won't work. And yeah, turning setbacks into opportunities. So when we faced with a setback, instead of giving up, uh, um, analyze the situation, identify areas for improvement, and pivot or iterate your strategies. So I don't know if you have experience during the pandemic. So for example, I have this example, right? A startup facing a financial challenges during a pandemic. So he or she could adapt its business model to cater the growing demand for online services. So he or she might have an offline or a store, but during the pandemic, she leveraged the setback of having a limited offline or physical, right? Physical store. So he leveraged the setback to an opportunity and venture on the online side to expand its digital offerings and reach a broader customer base. So yeah, so that's how we approach challenges with a growth mindset. The second one is to someone who is curiosity driven. So we must develop a curiosity driven learning approach. So first is to ask questions and seek answers. So yeah, we must cultivate curiosity because I believe the moment you are here, you are joining this session, it's because you're curious about being a generalist or something that relates to a generalist. So we must be radically open to new ideas and let's explore various fields of knowledge. At the same time, under curiosity driven, we must be learning interdisciplinary. So aside from just being curious, right? So we should apply or we should learn and apply those what we have learned. So we must connect ideas from different subjects and finding patterns and insights across different disciplines. The third one of the generalist mindset is balancing breadth and depth. This is very critical, right? Because you have to balance this one and it will be crucial because it enables a holistic and adaptable approach to solving a certain problem or address a certain or providing solutions or address a certain problem, right? So this is the striking a balance to ensures versatility, innovation, and the capacity to navigate a wide range of scenarios while still possessing the proficiency to excel in specialized areas. So we can say that this should be balanced. Why? Because we can't be we won't be able to tackle this one because first and foremost, we have limited time, we have limited life, obviously, and we have to set a foundation where there's a demand, or there's this um, skills that the I don't know if anyone is aware about ikigai, right? So finding a balance about breadth and depth obviously will result as well to ikigai, and at the same time, um, yeah, we must acquire foundational skills. So reading, writing, critical thinking, and I would say one of the most foundational skills I will consider is common sense, because uh, it's the most essential skills, because no rules can override common sense. So, and at the same time, one of the foundational skills that we will acquire is basic numeracy and problem solving. So, yeah, we must be able to do that. And at the same time, under balancing breadth and depth is to explore diverse interests. So let's try out various hobbies and activities. After all, who knows, it would click within that hobbies and activities. At the same time, let's participate as well in extracurricular. You can act as a volunteer, an intern, or by just helping communities. So this is way as well, not just for your side, but also once you are helping or contributing, you have an exposure, involvement, and at the same time, your contribution will matter from through that participation. Yeah, from Speedy, yeah, common sense. And then for the fourth one about the generalist mindset, so we must cultivate transferable skills. So I would define this transferable skills. Okay, so transferable skills are, let's say, are abilities and competencies that you can apply in various roles, industries, and contexts. So these skills are not specific to any particular job or field and can be transferred from one job to another. So we can, I don't know if anyone knows this, transferable skills are AKA, or also known as soft skills or portable skills. And I believe it is essential to have a soft skills as a generalist, because you can bring it anywhere in whatever industry you are into and whatever field you are into. So first, you must identify your transferable skills. So it can be a communication, it can be a public speaking and the way you present, or any soft skills that you could bring to your, or that would bring value to your business, to your company, I mean, to your employer, or even to your personal stuff, right? And at the same time, time management and organizing. So you must identify the to do, the must do, the do it later or not do. So yeah, soft skills are, and trans, or let's say the transferable skills are necessary actually. Yeah, Speedy. The second one in cultivating transferable skills is to leverage skills in different contexts. Why? Because if we leverage skills in different contexts, we can adapt in various situations. So it involves understanding how to modify and tailor one's skills to meet specific requirements and demands of diverse situation, tasks, or challenges. So this adaptability allows individuals to be versatile, resilient, and effective problem solvers in various personal and professional settings. I don't know if in Web3, right, we are facing some sort of problem, some challenging stuff within our project, right? But if we have, let's say, a diverse skill set, or we have leveraged our Web2 skills to Web3 skills, definitely we can leverage those. We can use that skills of ours, and obviously we can contribute to the betterment or to the improvement of our project, right? And at the same time, solving problems using multifaceted approach. Yeah, this is in relation to leveraging skills. So if you leverage your skills, you always solve problems. May it be in a different approach or same approach as your employers or on your team, right? Because the point is that we may have different approach as long as we are solving or addressing problems. So, and also we are leaning towards our common goal and vision. So for example, yeah, we have this uh, problem, but we arrive at the same we arrive at the same solution, but we tackle it in a different approach because that's how we um, that's how we think about solving those problems or addressing those problems. For the fifth one is to pursue a lifelong learning. So let's emphasize that there's the value of continuous learning, right? As we grow, as we age, so we must keep learning, not just within the four corners of our classroom, but because it is a must actually to keep learning. So first, about pursuing lifelong learning is to keep up with the changing times. So yeah, we are living in a uncertain environment, a certain world. Anything that is applicable now may not be applicable soon. So we must keep and be updated on the changing times because I believe that the thing that is constant here is the change, right? And then, yeah, about the learning strategies, about lifelong learning, right? Reading, online courses and workshops. So this can be, you can enroll via an online course on the internet. At the same time, participate online or offline workshops. At the same time, one of the strategies as well for us to learn is to engage with mentors and peers. So yeah, it is necessary to have a genuine mentors and peers who are willing to help us grow and improve. So just like what we are doing here in Surgence, so let's help each other here in our community so that the success of each one of us will boost um, our career, our success, and obviously it will result to the betterment of each individuals and even us and for us. Yeah. So we have this Filipino saying that hatak pataas. So yeah, eh, you type in the chat about hatak pataas. So yeah. And then for the last part, so we must build or connect with network of specialists. So I would say that I don't discount the power of specialists because it is necessary, right? Yes, I have mentioned about the eagle and frog. So specialist and generalist must coexist. So first, about connecting or building with network of specialists, so we must recognize the value. So we must collaborate with them for in-depth expertise. I have this example from Henry Ford. I don't know if you know Henry Ford, right? But he has this scenario about his car manufacturing, wherein he's he has a set he has a set of experts. It may it be in tire, in electrical, in the chassis, or in mechanical. So yeah, he is the one spearheading the business or the car manufacturing industry, but he collaborates with these experts so that he may able to create a car that is cost effective, efficient, and at the same time can be used within their place. And then at the same time, about recognizing value specialists is to learn as well from the specialists in specific fields. So learn from the experts. And I just want to emphasize this, learn from expert and not just so-called influencers and gurus. So yeah, find someone who is licensed or someone who is have a deep experience about his field as a specialist. And at the same time, about networking, so attend events and workshops. Who knows, you can find a specialist there, and at the same time be proactive, because as proactive person, so it sparks interest not just for yourself but at the same time for the person who is teaching or mentoring, or a specialist might be interested to teach you how to do it. And then for connection with network of specialists, we must build a genuine relationships such that creating connections with people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and identities, and nurture an environment of mutual respect, empathy, and understanding. So yeah, we may have different point of views, but if we build genuine relationships, definitely we will connect with them, and we will be able to have a mutual connections as a generalist and specialist. So right now in Web3, so as we grow in space, we must be humble enough to learn, and we must don't act like we know it all, because there's this dilemma about this people who, since we are pseudonyms here or via anonymous here, but yeah, some scams, right? We can face or we can encounter them. So at the same time, we must be inclusive in relationship building, because it means that we are actively seeking to engage with individuals who may have different perspectives and experiences. So value their unique contributions and ensure that everyone feels welcome and accepted. So okay, for the opportunities as a generalist. So obviously, since you have a big depth of base knowledge, so you have a flexible career path, obviously. So you will have broad job opportunities, and you can transition between industries, and at the same time, you can position yourself in the market. Because of your diverse skills that you are showcasing, you will be able to adapt and versatile in whatever markets you are into. So yeah, one way as well. This is to emphasize as well for the opportunity. So one way as well for the employers to consider is the cost effectiveness. So aside from integrity, work ethics, and behavior that we must possess. So the question about this one of being a generalist. So why would they hire someone with few skill sets but with depth knowledge than someone who can juggle similar roles? And I believe it's costly sometimes to train a person. And I don't know if you're experiencing this one, but um, some scenarios, right? If you train a person in a certain company, after he or she um, gain that certificate, he or she may resign actually. Yeah, just to gain that experience or to gain that certification, because sometimes certification is expensive. Yeah, and some people are taking advantage of it. Last, so yeah, as a generalist, it's not always opportunities, right? It may also have threats imposing to a generalist. First thing is we consider, right, we only have 24 hours, so and we all have challenge in terms of time management and prioritization. So one of which is we have multiple interests. So yeah, that's the challenge. So we must set goals and priorities and allocate time effectively. Since I would say that we all have 24 hours a day, so spend it wisely. And yeah, I emphasize that one on the threat is to have a balance in such a way that you have to deal or you have to manage those things, because if you have this diverse skill set, and you you will have a problem sooner or later, because you can't provide equal, because in web3, right, um some of us might have different roles, different job or gigs that we are into. But let's say you have a lot of projects you are into. Are you are you assuring, or are you aware, or are you giving that assurance to your employers that you can provide quality, efficiency to that project? So that's the question. So you must balance, regardless of how many projects you're into. You must have to bring value, provide quality in each and every projects you are into. And at the same time, yeah, the challenge sometimes might have we have this dilemma actually, right? Overcommitment. So we must avoid this one so that we can provide quality, yeah, and productivity in all aspects of our life. So we must also learn to say no. And right now we must prioritize self-care and well-being, because yeah, in the digital space sometimes you might wake up in the front of your computer, sit the whole day, and then sleep in front of your computer. Yeah. So I believe some of you guys, right, and even myself as well, I might be guilty of this. Yeah, to each and we might be eager or hungry to each and every opportunity. So we turn out into a FOMO state or fear of missing out state. So I understand each one of you guys. I have experienced that as well. And then when considering commitments, I believe start with yourself. So assess and evaluate yourself, give yourself every benefit to help yourself succeed. So obviously, you make to keep things simple. Consider what is on your to-do list. So yeah, that would be a threat, and we must have to assess and evaluate yourself. And speaking of assessment and evaluation in ourselves, so I don't know if you are open to this, guys. So you have to create your own Web3 T model. So what would be your breadth and depth diagram? So may it be in NFTs, um, DeFi, or any Web3 related breadth of knowledge you are into, and what expertise or how expert are you already? And try to ask. Actually, this we can use this. I don't know if Mia will be open with this one to create this as a ride or die thing to
Oh,
our community members, because at the same time we can assess our individuals or our community members as well and what expertise on what specific fields, because if we will just rely on the web3 skills, we might lose some important parts about their web2 skills, right? Yeah. And then yeah, one way as well to check and balance our skill set and base knowledge. So and then to wrap this up, so yeah, I'll share to you the complete statement of the earlier line. So a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So what we are aiming here is not to be necessary a generalist, so because we are not debating here who is better or who is not better, right? But we are here to learn, to grow, and sooner or later we will contribute to this industry, and we will be sooner the expert generalist or a special generalist or a general specialist. Yeah. So identify the benefits and skill sets of being a generalist that resonates you, embrace diverse interests, and yeah, pursue a lifelong journey of learning and growth. So yeah, thank you very much.
wow. When I asked you to do a session, I did not expect you to do a full blown out session like this. This was amazing, Lupin. That was good. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel
Any
free to drop
questions,
it
guys?
down. I would love to ask you some personal questions on how you became what you do right now in the space. So you mentioned that you were like you are one of the like speakers in the Binance Philippines space. Can you?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see a video of yourself, but I've heard that around from Joseph and stuff. But how did you manage to get that role?
Yeah,
And what did
actually,
you do? Yeah.
actually, I joined the Web3 last as a although I'm exposed in Web3 last 2020, but I deep dive actually early 2022, and yeah, I have full time right now within this year, and I
Mm.
would say as a Binance Angel, as Joseph has emphasized that. So yeah, actually I am in the spirit of helping community members. So they find it interesting to my they find it interested on my portfolio, and at the same time, yeah, in this um with my exposure as well in this industry. And I would say for the host thing, actually it was just I was just pinpoint because no one wants to volunteer. So yeah.
So you're like, okay,
So
I'll
I
do it.
yeah, but I embrace it because yeah, as a with a growth mindset, so I am open to learn it, how to deal with it, and at the same time, yeah. But the point there is that once I have that role, I always seek feedback from what I am doing. For example, I did hosting, right? after the end of the session, I ask our team or our the one that facilitates how's my hosting, what's the feedback, because in that way you will learn. You may receive a praise, you may receive bad comments or anything that is related to your output, right? So we must
Mm.
seek feedback actually,
Yeah,
because
no,
if
that
what we
that's a
in what we
huge.
do, yeah, actually it's most on each and every project in Web3. So if I'm doing community management, community
Mm.
moderation, I ask may it be the project leader or our my peers or my colleagues. So yeah, I always ask them how's my community moderation, how's my community management, and yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I deal with it and improve actually. So that's how I improve through this feedback from them.
yeah, that's huge. A huge opportunity for you as well. And I think that can get you a lot. Um, Even in Web 2, if you are looking seeking for Web 2 job, I think having that on your resume even can get you somewhere in life. So huge
Agree,
congratulations to
agree.
you. Yeah, and you're just volunteering, which is amazing as
Yeah,
well. All
it's a
right.
way as well of my paying forward to
Yeah.
what Web3 has giving me.
Yeah. Where can we find you, Lupin, on those videos? Them-
Yeah, you can find me on Binance Live.
I'm gonna find you one day. I want to find you. I'll remember your voice, so I will find you.
Oh,
So, what are you currently working right now? Are
yeah,
you working as a club like community manager anywhere?
yeah. Actually, I'm community manager of Codify, and at the
Mm,
same time, community manager of XLD Finance, a DeFi project actually, and then of a digital project. I don't know if you know AN1. So yeah,
wow.
and that's one of the three. And at the same time, I'm volunteering and at this helping actually our fellow Filipinos. So yeah, Joseph is in there as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have this Filipino Web3, and yeah, I'm volunteer with as Binance Angels, helping our fellow Filipino in terms of crypto related stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing, man. I want to learn more from you because I cannot. I'm only doing Surgence and I'm already stressed out. And you're like community managers for like 3 different projects and you're doing so many other things on the side.
okay.
So kudos to you.
I don't know
Uh
if there are Filipinos in here, but we will be having a Binance meetup this Friday.
oh yeah, take some photos. And there's heaps of Filipinos people
And
in
I have,
Surgence.
yeah, I have actually my top pick, or I picked the volunteers in this event actually are from Surgence, if you know. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we will
Um
be having a Surgence local community here.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so
let
I
me
picked them.
I will do an announcement on that actually and get some more people that is in the Philippines that didn't know about it so you guys can do a meetup.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, we will meet this Friday.
Okay, okay, yeah, message me so I can like announce something obviously in one like our daily reminders so we can get you guys all valid out.
Yeah, we'll let you know
Cool.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
I'll
questions,
fly to
guys?
Philippines right now as well.
Wow, wow, wow.
Ew, I wish, man, I wish. Damn. Okay, you guys will have so much fun. Anyone have any questions for why is it south? Anyone, yeah, have any questions for Lupin in regards to this session? I think that was an amazing session.
I hope they have learned.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff.
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Joseph.
Lupin. Thanks for very informative session. I have a question. How to be you, brother?
How to be me? Simple. I do things for the glory of God and always
Oh,
be
nice.
humble. Yeah.
Lovely, man. 100%. I agree.
Agree.
Man.
PD's talking. Do you have questions, PD?
Same question actually. I'm actually in the Philippines. Actually, I am
Oh,
Pinay.
High speedy.
Hello there. I love your discussion a while ago. I was actually taking down notes and
Whoa.
literally taking down notes. So yeah, I love it. And I actually heard the moment you started the discussion, I know that you're a Pinoy, the way you present yourself. And yeah, City of Piaya, you came. I love Piaya. I miss that.
I don't know if anyone here knows Piaya.
what is
Oh,
Anyone
that?
can share
that's
the
food.
picture of Piaya?
Let's find. Let's look for a Piaya picture so that they can relate.
Yeah.
City of PI.
Yeah, but our place actually is a city of smiles. So yeah, you will see smiling people here. That's why they love Binance
Bacolod.
team will visit Bacolod.
Wow.
That's a holy session actually on Friday.
Yeah. No. It will be around 6 p.m. to 9
Oh,
p.m. It's
Ahoy
evening.
night event.
So I will treat the dinner.
Oh,
Oh,
all right, guys,
Joseph,
I'm
would you
No,
like
coming.
to
no,
come?
no. It will be care of Binance. Just kidding. Yeah, that's the Piaya.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, they
there
have
are
PI, Ubi PI, I think this one.
yeah, it's violet. Would say it's ube.
Damn, haven't tried that. Since there's a lot of Filipinos in here, have you guys heard of Taylor Swift?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you a
Jesus
Swifty?
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Swifty, but I love her song, some of her song.
Oh, you
But
gotta.
sadly, we don't have we are not actually part of that era tour.
Yeah.
Can you
Philippines.
sing one? Can you sing
So
one?
sad. Who?
Speedy, speed.
Is it Mia? I think because she's a Swifty.
Shifty. Wait. No, no, not today, guys. Uh, Katsu can sing while we wrap this up. Katsu, the stage is all yours.
Go Katsu.
You're serious?
Yeah, you. That's what you said.
Not gonna lie, I'm at work right now, but I'm inside the car.
That's a perfect environment to sing your heart out.
If someone can play a background music of love story, I can sing.
All right, Joseph, run it up, Joseph.
You're going to sing along, Katsu?
Go Katsu.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Okay, game. I was on push to talk and I need the lyrics.
Oh.
Okay, you can play again. You can play again.
Wow.
Maybe -1.
-1,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. I love the minus
Doesn't
one. Just for us to
doesn't
hear
matter.
the voice of Katsu.
Nobody can hear me inside the car, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's so perfect.
But you might hear
Wait,
the
wrong one. Wrong run. Okay.
The
No,
lyrics
there's
don't
no minus
match.
one.
No, it's okay. There you go. Thank you guys for attending this session. Amazing. Okay. Yep. Hit the outro, Joseph.